In this video, we will show you how to do site standardization with the SafeSense in your clinic. Thanks for listening and trusting BCSI and SafeSense.
Today we are going to perform the site standardization protocol for the SafeSense IVM. When the SafeSense system is adjusted at the factory, several environmental issues are in play. Temperature, elevation, humidity, as well as the condition of the incubator and test equipment used by BCSI. With any laboratory instrument, one must demonstrate the equipment meets your needs and fulfills the intended use for pH measurement in your clinic. To do so, it is important to ensure that the incubator being used is properly calibrated for both CO2 and temperature. Verify the temperature and CO2 by an external method such as a certified thermometer or Firite before beginning your setup tests. Once you have your SafeSense installed in your incubator, gather your required materials. You will need 5 sensors, 500 microliters of media, and 175 microliters of oil. Plan for 5 minutes of setup time in the afternoon and 10 minutes the next morning to perform the pH readings. If you want to follow along, the protocol is in Appendix A3 of the user's manual. We will first run a QC test on the SafeSense reader to ensure it is functioning correctly. From the home screen, press Enter, type in QC, and press Enter. The fiber probe is cleaned with a dry tissue like a Kim wipe to remove anything that blocks the optical path. Then press Enter on the SafeSense and match the serial number of the QC standard against the number on the screen. Place the standard on the fiber probe and press Enter. The SafeSense quickly checks that the fluorescent signal still matches the initial factory settings and reports a confidence number close to 1,000. It may be off a little, but if the instrument indicates pass, then the signal is okay. If any differences exist, the SafeSense will automatically make the necessary internal adjustments. The QC test should be run once a week when you change pH sensors. Now we are ready to start the site standardization protocol. First, open the sensor packages and place them in a rack or petri dish. Then carefully pipette 100 microliters of media onto each of the sensor membranes. Be careful not to introduce bubbles while pipetting. Then add 35 microliters of oil to the sensor. The oil stays on top of the media and prevents it from evaporating during normal pH monitoring. It is important that the oil fully cover the media. Now we simply place the sensors into the incubator environment and allow them to equilibrate overnight. At this point, the sensors have been in the incubator for 16 hours. Now we will start a test on the SafeSense. Press Enter from the home menu screen and a test ID. 159 will work, and press Enter. Then type in the pH ID. This is found on the blue packaging label of the sensors. Press Enter. Now, with the help of a second person, read all 5 of the sensors within a minute. It works best to have one person open the incubator door and put the sensor on the probe, while the other person presses Enter on the SafeSense to take pH readings and records the measured values. In the BCSI clinic, the incubator is set at 5% CO2. At 5% CO2, the certificate of analysis states the pH of the media is 7.32. The average of our measured values is 7.41. That means our offset value is 7.32 minus 7.41, or minus 0.09. On the SafeSense, end your test by pressing Options, then press Options again at the home screen. Use the down arrow to navigate to the offset values and press Enter. Leave the slope as 1 and press Enter. Now use the buttons on the instrument to adjust the intercept. The 1, 4, and 7 keys adjust the value upwards by different amounts, and the 3, 6, and 9 keys adjust the value downwards. We are entering negative 0.09 for our offset value. People often ask, why do we need an offset value? The reason is that the setup at BCSI was done under the unique conditions present at our facility in Seattle, Washington. An offset value is required initially for every clinic and with every change in media type or incubator. This value corrects for the subtle differences between Seattle, Washington, where the unit is manufactured, and your clinic. Now that the offset is entered, the protocol has been completed. We can place one of the sensors onto the probe in the incubator and begin monitoring the pH for the next 7 days. Simply start a new test by typing in a unique ID number and the appropriate pH ID. It is important to change the ID number with each new pH sensor being monitored. pH monitoring will help you ensure that your incubator environment is maintaining the optimal conditions for your embryos during their development. It is important to be aware that changes to your incubator settings, such as adjusting the CO2 level from 5 to 6%, will not be immediately detected through the SafeSense system. It will take 6 to 12 hours before the pH in your media reaches the new steady state level. This is due to the slow rate that CO2 is able to absorb through the oil and into the media in the pH sensor. That is why general practice is to pre-equilibrate media in incubators overnight to allow enough time for temperature and CO2 equilibration of the media. Thank you for your attention. Continuous pH monitoring will enable you to optimize and record your environmental conditions.